Hello students, in the last session we have discussed map function in Python. In today's session we will discuss common operation on sequence types. Up till now we have studied three different sequence types. These are string, tuple and list. So there are some common operations which can be performed on all these sequence types. So let's study these operations. Okay, the common operations which can be performed on string, tuple and list are summarized here in this table. You can see the first operation is sequence of I. So sequence of I, sequence can be any sequence, it can be a string, a tuple or a list, and if we use this, it returns the ith element in the sequence. So if you want the ith element from the sequence, again sequence generally contains multiple elements, and if you want to retrieve a particular element located at a position, then you can use sequence in square bracket. You have to pass the index of the element, so it will return the ith element in the sequence. Then we have a function len in bracket sequence. So here we have to pass the sequence variable, and when we pass a sequence variable to len function, it simply returns the length of the sequence. So length of the sequence can be written. We can concatenate two sequences, whether it is a string, tuple or a list. We can concatenate it, sequence 1 plus sequence 2. So this will return concatenation of two sequences. Even we can multiply the sequence, so n can be any value, numeric value, into sequence simply returns a sequence that repeats sequence n times. So when we multiply it, it will return the sequence that many times. Then we have sequence in square bracket start colon end. So slicing returns a slice of the sequence which starts at starting index and which ends at ending index minus 1. So this slicing can be used on any of the sequences. It can be used with string, tuple and list. Then we have an operation that is E is any element in sequence. This returns a value true if E is contained in the sequence and false otherwise. We can check if an element exists or no in a particular sequence. In that case, we can use an operation like this, E in sequence, and this returns true if the element is present in the sequence. Otherwise, it will return false. Okay, we have a similar operation but which works in a reverse way, E not in sequence, and this will return true if not in the sequence and otherwise false. Then we can use a for loop to iterate through the elements of sequence. If a sequence contains multiple elements, we can iterate through each of those elements by using a for loop, that is for E in sequence iterates over the elements of sequence. So these are some common operations which can be performed on sequence types. Let me practically show you some of those operations. Okay, let us open the idle. Okay, let me create some sequences. Let me create a string first. I'll say s is equals to Python. So I've created a string with a name s. Same way I'll create a tuple. See, tuple can be created like this in round brackets. I can have some elements in the tuple, 1 comma, I'll say 2. See, tuple can contain any type of element. It can be a string, it can be a number, it can be of any other type as well. So tuple is created. Same way I'll create a list as well. So L is equals to, list can be created by using a square bracket. So I'll say 4 comma 5 comma 6. Okay, I have created now three sequences. One is string, another is tuple, and a list with name s, t and l. Let's perform some operations on this. Let me first show you the first operation, that is sequence of I. Suppose I want to display the second element from the string, then I may use it like s of second element. So the index position of second element, generally it is 1. Index always starts from 0. So I'll say s of 1. So this will display second element from our sequence. Now we have passed s means string. Second element, if you say it is y, it has displayed y. Same way we can use this on the tuple and list as well. Okay, let me show you with the list. And if I say 1, you can see what it is returning, 5. In the list, if you see at position 1, we have 5. So the first operation can be used like this. Now let's move to the second operation, that is len. Len of s, you can see it is returning 6. That means there are 6 characters in the string. Same way len can be used with the tuple as well. It is returning 3 because there are 3 elements in the tuple. Then about concatenation, we can concatenate 2 strings and it will return us the concatenated string. So if I say a string, directly I'll declare here hello and plus the string s, you can see the result of it. It is returning hello Python. So concatenation, both the strings are joined together. And same way this can be applied on tuple and list. Okay, let me show you this with the list. So our list is stored in L. So L plus, I'll declare one more list over here with elements 7 and 8. Okay, I'm concatenating the list declared earlier with the name L and the list directly declared. So you can see the concatenation is, original list L was having elements 4, 5 and 6, and after concatenation of 7 and 8, we have a new list which contains 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it can be used with tuple as well. Then multiplication, as I said, if I multiply, so if I say 3 into s, so this will return the value of s 3 times. So value of s is Python, so it is returning Python, Python and Python. Similar way we can use this with tuple and the list. Okay, then I'll show you, I'll not show you the slicing because we have already studied slicing with the string. So I'll directly go to the next type, that is E in sequence or element in a sequence. We can check if an element exists or no in a sequence by using that operation. So let's check if the element 5 exists in our list L. So I may say 5 in name of our sequence is L, so I'll say L, and you can see this is returning true because 5 exists in our list. If I pass there 7 in L, it is returning false because 7 is not there in our list. Same way it can be used with a string or tuple as well. You can see if a particular character exists in a string by using this syntax. Then I'll show you directly with the last operation, that is iterating over the elements. If I want to iterate through all the elements in a sequence, I can use a for loop. So let me show you here. Let us print every element from the string S. String S contains element that is P, Y, T, H, O, N. Let us print those elements one by one by using a for loop. For that I may say for, we have to take a counter variable, so I'll simply take E itself. E in our sequence name is S, then colon, then print E and press enter and enter again. You can see it is returning each and every element in the sequence S. So we can iterate through the elements of a sequence by using a for loop. Same way we can iterate through the elements of a tuple or list. Let me show you with tuple as well. So I'll say for E in tuple is T, and okay, the syntax error. So for why that error has displayed, because we have missed colon. Okay, then print E, enter and enter. You can see it has displayed the elements of tuple. The elements are 1, 2 and 3. So this is how this common operations can be performed on all the sequence types. Okay, next we will see some of the similarities and differences between the three sequences, that is string, tuple and list. So we have a table here. In this table we have first, that is type, then type of elements which can be stored in the sequences, and the examples about the values which can be stored in the sequences, and the last section simply tells us if the type is mutable or not. First, string, that is str. Type of elements which can be stored in string are characters. Some of the examples are a blank string, string with a single element, string with some elements. And is it mutable? No, we cannot change a string, that is why it is not mutable. Then in case of tuple, the elements can be of any type. It can be characters, numbers, special characters or some other things. Some examples are given. So this is empty tuple, this is singleton which contains a single element, and then we have tuple with some element. Then is it mutable? No, even this is not mutable. Then we have a list. Again, the values can be of any type, and we have empty list, list with a single element and list with two elements, and list is mutable, yes, list is mutable. So this is about the comparison between three different sequence types, that is string, tuple and list. Okay, now let us study some of the methods on string as well. So these are some methods which can be used with string, and it can be only used with string. So the first method here, it is s, that is our string, dot count, and we have to pass a string as an argument to it, and what it returns, it counts how many times the string s1 occurs in s. It simply returns how many times the string s1 occurs in s, let me show you this. Okay, uh, okay, so consider this is our string. S is equals to Python is a programming language, and I want to check how many times the word Python has occurred in the string. For that I can say s dot count, in bracket I have to pass the searching string, so I'm searching for Python, and you can see it is returning 0. Now why it is returning 0? Python is already exist in the string, then it should return me 1. Why it is returning 0? Because we have typed here p in small case. It is case sensitive, and that is the reason it was returning 0. When I type p in capital letters, now you can see it is returning 1. Means this Python has occurred once in the given string. So we can check the count. The second function here, it is s dot find s1, returns the index of the first occurrence of the string s1 in s, and minus 1 if s1 is not in s. We can check if a particular string exists in the given string. So I want to check programming is exist in s or no. In that case I can use s dot find, and I have to pass the pattern which I want to search, programming, and this will return the index position of it. Now index position, it is returning 12. If you count from the beginning, that is 0 1 2 3 like this, you will get the p at position 12. Same way we have rfind. Rfind works similar to find, but it searches string from the reverse order. Find simply it starts searching from the 0th index, that is 0 1. It will check for the string if it exists. In case of rfind, it starts from the reverse order, that is it will start from E, G, then in the reverse order it will search, and if it exists it returns the match. Okay, okay, let me just see. I'll use now rfind instead of find, and look at the result. From the reverse order it is searching, and still from the reverse order also if you count it, it will be 12. Okay, then we have a method that is s dot index of s1, same as find. See, s dot index is same as find, but raises an exception if s1 not in s. Now what is the difference between find and index? The difference is only that if I use find, okay, let me show you. If I use find and if I pass a string that is not there in the given string s, it is returning me minus 1. That means the string hello does not exist in s. But if the same case occurs when I use the function that is index, it will simply raises an exception. It will simply generates an error. I will show you index, and if I pass hello, you can see it is raising an exception. But if I pass a string which exists, then it will work in the similar way like the find. You can see, okay. Okay, so you can see it is returning 0. That means Python exists at index position 0. This is our string Python p, it is at the beginning, so index position is 0. So it works similar. Okay, then we have r index, which is reverse of index. It starts searching from reverse order. Then we have a function s dot lower, simply converts all the uppercase characters in a string to lowercase. Then we have s dot replace, that simply replaces all occurrences of string old in s with new. So let me show you this. S dot replace. If I want to replace say our string is Python is a programming language. I want to replace programming with scripting, so I will be passing here programming. This is old one, and I want to replace it with scripting. And okay, let us see. Now you can see the output of this. Earlier it was Python is a programming language. Now the new string is Python is a scripting language. So it will replace all the occurrences of old string with a new one. Then we have a function that is rstrip, removes trailing white space from S. So that means it will remove any white spaces at the beginning or at the end of a string. So let me show you now. Our string is, I'll print the string now, S. So it is Python is a programming language. See, we have replaced it, but replace simply generates a new string. It will not change the original string. Okay, there is no space at the beginning of a string, there is no space at the end of a string. Let me add some space at the beginning of a string. So I'll say, okay, I'll concatenate some space with our string S. So I'll say, okay, S is equals to, okay, now I'll print yes again. Now you can see there is some space at the beginning of a string, and if you want to remove that space, what you can do is you can use S dot r strip oh, S dot r strip, okay, S dot r strip, and press enter. Okay, you can see here it has not removed any space from the beginning of a string. Why it has not removed any space from a beginning of a string? Because we have used a function that is rstrip, which works in the reverse way actually, that removes space at the end of a string, not at the beginning. If you want to remove space at the beginning of a string, we have to use strip instead of rstrip. Now you can see the space has been removed from the beginning. Okay, that is about strip and rstrip. Then we have split. We can split our string into multiple different strings by using a delimiter D. So splits S using delimiter D, D as in delimiter, returns a list of substrings of S. For example, the value David Gutak plays basketball, and if you split it by using a space, you will have some substrings, that is David Gutak plays basketball, all separate strings. So let us see now. I'll say S dot split. I want to split the string based on the space, so I'll pass a space. Now after splitting it based on space, we will have Python separate, is separate, separate, programming separate. So let us see what is the output. Now you can see it has given us some space at the beginning, because in our string S there was some space which I had added in the beginning, and then we have Python is then space programming language. Okay, let me print S here to understand. You can see at the beginning we have some space, so all the spaces are also separated there. So split, it is used to split your string into multiple substrings. Okay, this is about some of the methods on string. We will stop here today. Thank you.